Happy Friday and welcome to Jasiri. Now it's the end of another week in Nigeria, a week filled with headlines that moved fast, stories that stirred emotions, and conversations that could refuse to be ignored. And today we're here to help you catch up, or catch your breath and catch up as we break down more of the big Nigerian stories, we're going to be talking about today. So whether you're wrapping up work, settling into your commute, or even easing into the weekend, stay with us. Jasiri is here to help you make sense of the noise and focus on what really matters. And let's get into it.
Wow, this is really interesting. We ended the discussion about Baba and his new wife, Natasha Osawaru, with Tolu hoping that there would be some kind of peace for the next few days. But alas, Tolu, it is not to be.
See me, I had my
as I predicted.
I had my fingers crossed, I had my arms crossed, I had my toes crossed. I was hoping
uncross everything. Uncross everything because there's a hex somewhere. This, because Thursday evening, news broke that the Idibia family has petitioned the Inspector General of Police against Natasha Osawaru for assaulting their son, Innocent Idibia, in London and other places. According to the report, Baba's family is allegedly preparing to take legal action. Their petition claims that Osawaru has committed bigamy, stating that Baba had not finalized the divorce with Annie before she began presenting herself publicly as his wife. The claim that she seized his personal properties and travel documents and is even preventing him from attending business engagements and performances. In addition, the petition accuses her of unauthorized transfers of funds from Baba's phone and bank accounts and substance abuse, and the calls for the Assistant General of Police to investigate her for alleged use of hard substances.
Now, just to mention some of the drama that has happened before now, it started this week, or this latest drama rather was this week, when video surfaced online of Baba's alleged arrest in London over claims of an altercation with his wife. Again, we say alleged arrest. Yes, we saw him apparently being taken away, separated from her, hands behind his back. But as we said yesterday, there has been no confirmation, no charges or anything like that. Then also came the dramatic live session with Daddy Freeze, where you could hear Baba and his wife Natasha arguing in the background, and then it seemed to be some form of, I won't say a physical scuffle, but something happened. And then they abruptly logged off. And it was on that same live that his manager also confirmed the arrest in London and that all was indeed not well. Then came his brother's appeal to the singer publicly to please speak out. Now, after that, the couple shared posts on their various social media, hugged up and showing love to each other. And then came the dramatic post and delete on Baba's Instagram story with the caption, "Help me, help me." But he released a video shortly after that, asking everyone to be calm and cease fire, that there was no cause for alarm, just a normal couple's disagreement, and that he was fine. I don't know if we should play the video again because the video came right before the family released the petition, so maybe the video did not in any way douse their concern. So let's hear once again from Baba.
This is getting out of hand, and this is a dangerous situation right now. I know what fans can do. I know what people can do. I am perfectly okay. You understand what I'm saying? And this is putting Natasha at risk. It's not fair on anybody to do this kind of thing. It's not fair on anybody at all. So please, I need everybody to calm down. I need everybody to cease fire. We want to resolve all these issues. People, they get issue for house, maybe today. But this is getting out of hand. Please, friends, family, everybody, cease fire. Please, I beg you. I beg you. I am perfectly fine. I did not pull that post. Please. Please. I'm okay. Please.
So are we taking reactions first?
Do you have reactions? Because
People are reacting. Let's take their reactions first.
Let's hear what they had to say.
Yeah.
All right, we have this from Femi Tiger. It says, Annie would be having the time of her life. Share, you talk, say, I know good for you. Oh yeah, now. I shall know that after a couple of years, she would accept him back.
Why does everybody feel that way?
Everybody
including me.
so,
But why do we all feel that way?
Honestly, I don't...
There has to be some truth to it, too.
Let's take another reaction.
Anyone who didn't know the Two-Face will think he's still a suckling baby. Now, that old man is the pioneer of everything wrong in his life.
Wow.
All he's been doing is putting women younger than him in the line of fire. Natasha is his match. He should enjoy the ride, and that's from Verity.
His family members and maybe friends don't seem to see him as a grown man. They don't treat him as one. They interfere so much in his affairs. You think he's 19, yet he's 50. The last time, his mom said Natasha enchanted him and hid him or something. Now it's Petition. I see why he turned out the way he did. His family never holds him accountable for... They just pamper him like a child and blame all the women in his life for his foolishness. Natasha is the one giving him drugs? Question marks. When will they stop infantilizing a man pushing 55? And let's see, do we have... This family is just funny. Man at 50 years old. That's how you frustrated Annie's life. Call your son to order. Take him to rehab and let him start his life afresh. Miss Sound Sultan Shah, I'm sure he won't... Miss Sound Sultan Shah, I'm sure he won't live his best friend living like this. Ikuba Olaje.
Wait here.
Okay, this is Nas Boy. Let me try. Dear King, Two-Face, Idibia, Baba. Okay. I feel genuinely heartbroken seeing some of the embarrassing videos and news about you circulating online. It hurts because you have always been my mentor. I've looked up to you since I was 16. I've loved every bit of your music, your personality, and the humility you carried yourself with. In fact, you were one of the people who taught me what it means to be humble. You have had your criticism in the past, but your character and humility still stood tall. I never knew you as someone who fought publicly, argued online, or created drama. The Two-Face I grew up loving was calm, humble, and carried himself with grace. I know every family has its issues, but one thing I know about Tubaba was how he never speaks on things like this. No matter what happened behind closed doors, you never brought it outside. Sir, you may have your private battles with anyone in your life, that is normal, but the version of events being brought online now is damaging and unfamiliar to those of us who truly love and respect you. Your current situation is presenting a side of you that many of us have never seen, and it is painful to watch. Please, sir, for the sake of people like me who have loved you from a young age, please take control of the situation. We still believe in you. We still admire you. We still want to see the Tubaba we grew up respecting. This message is from a boy who has loved you since he was 16. I chose this particular song because suddenly the lyrics hit differently. With respect, love, and deep concern, a loyal fan.
Oh, that was so touching.
Do you have any more reactions? Who wants to start?
Quite touching.
Okay. I will start because there's one thing I do sort of like in the comments, and that is the call for Two-Face to also take accountability and a conversation around the infantilization of a man who is
Pushing 55.
Pushing 55. And you know, yesterday when we were talking, there was when you have an argument with somebody, and then remember clap back when you get home. It's in the shower. You're like, oh, why did I say this? And I think there's a point to be made. With all the drama that has played out, there is a common denominator from Pero, Sumbo, Annie, and now Natasha. And let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, the common denominator is Two-Face. The common denominator is Two-Face. The drama may not have been this bad in previous situations, but it was bad. And I remember, and I understand what Naspo is saying, because Two-Face rarely has ever really spoken out about things. And there were times when things were really hot for Annie, and particularly involving his family, that I wish he would have spoken out for his wife, for the mother of his children, for the woman who embraced children from other relationships that were had while he was in a relationship with her. I wish he had defended her at certain times and told people to cease fire then, you know, and that it was affecting Annie. But he really didn't do that for her. But that's in the past. But now I'll say there is a common thread we're seeing here, and the common thread is Two-Face himself. Are people starting to see the Two-Face that is behind the scenes that people never really saw, that was hidden by the humility that we all believe he has and this facade, maybe. And I think it's important that in this kind of situation, there's accountability for everyone involved, both him and Natasha. Because are we going to blame supposed drug use only on Natasha? Because there's been
this thing, I'm just going to take it right from their mouth. Because as Tolu is saying, there's a common denominator, two-face. Another prominent elephant in the room is this alleged drug use. Whether we like it or not, drug use alters your personality. So sometimes you might not be able to understand what yourself you're doing while you are under the influence. This is a crisis that even where he's married to Annie, the alleged drug use.
He accused her of drug use.
It is time everyone takes. You need to be held accountable for your actions. When I think of this, I'm thinking, honestly, sometimes I think with the Houston Bobby Brown.
Yeah. That has come to mind.
And what is really hurtful is that some of these things that we are seeing from the outside, remember there are children in these marriages.
We spoke about it
who look at them from inside and outside. You can't tell me that drug use allegedly, you can hide it continuously for children who grew up in your household. After some time, it will become a thing for them. They should stop thinking about themselves alone and think of what this blowback. Do you know what this blowback can be for the children? Remember when one of the children cried out?
And it's just
it's quite concerning.
Yeah.
With all this drama that is happening, you don't know what can be happening to the children in their schools. Of course, they can be bullied. Say your dad, hey, your mama.
Speaking of Annie's child, one of them actually came out a while back to say she doesn't see them as mommy and daddy. She sees them as just Two-Face and Annie stars. Like, why would your child come out to say that?
And now you are seeing their managers, people that are supposed to be Two-Face's handlers. It's as if they can no longer handle him.
So how much handling has been happening before now?
And now I look at Two-Face's family. Sometimes I think they are just two-faced. Yes, because you will see them come out now, and at the end of the day, they'll go back.
It wasn't
if they swallow their words.
It wasn't just the mom who came out. I remember
his brother came out. Even Annie's family, even Annie's brother came out against her at one time. Sorry.
So who are you saying that Two-Face's family are trying to control him?
Or they cannot.
Or they cannot control him.
There's a way
Wait. There's also the other side of that. So are they trying to control him? They can't control him. Or is it because that there's somebody else now who seems to be taking the, I won't say leadership, not ownership, but the managing position of him.
Controlling him, and they don't have access.
And they don't have access. Because it sounds in a way sometimes like a Nollywood movie where the in-laws start blaming the wife, the way our son was doing before to us. He was giving us monthly salary, he was doing this. It's because he married you that he's no longer doing this. And it just sounds like a very typical African situation. But let's be honest about the other accusations they have against her. And somebody who's watching said, why are we struggling? Because the man's name is Two-Face, so it's two faces. So there's the face that he presents to the public, and there's the face behind the scenes. But the family is accusing her of alleged assault, and with videos, 1 or 2 videos. I don't know if you guys have seen the airport video, and then now the Daddy Freeze video. So alleged assault, also accusing her of drug use. There was another video that trended this past week, but we can't bring it up because you can't connect it to them. But you can't connect it to them. It's absolute hearsay. There's also the accusations that she has seized his personal properties and travel documents, and is preventing him from attending business engagements and performances, and also having unauthorized transfer of funds from his phone and bank accounts as well. These are very serious allegations.
They're very serious
allegations. I think that there should, at this point, there should be some kind of investigation. Families are allowed to petition. Even outside of the country, you might be an adult. If your family feels that there's an issue, they do welfare checks. They can do welfare checks. But there's one that I think the family does not seem to understand, which is bigamy. She's not the one. She's not the one who would be accused of bigamy. Why? She's not the one who was married. The person who should be accused of bigamy is Two-Face. Because even the family now is obviously saying that his divorce to Annie is not complete.
I knew that.
But don't forget, we're in a country where you can still do a traditional marriage. You can have a wife that you took to court and then have other wives that you're traditionally married to. So the bigamy aspect of it is a bit off for me.
But the family more than one.
Yes, but the family needs to recognize that it's not Natasha you accuse of bigamy. It is the person who is still married, which happens to be your son, that you need to accuse of bigamy.
So Tolu, now, so what is the way forward? Because let's not forget one common denominator, and that's his friends in the industry. A lot of them have actually come out to say he needs
intervention.
Help. He needs intervention.
Who is going to do the intervention? Because I don't think, you remember Efe. Was Efe Omoroge not his manager for many years?
Yes.
But it seems that in recent times,
removed himself from the conversation.
So those are the things that are concerning, because sometimes when people want to self-destruct, they isolate themselves. And people that should have access to them no longer have access to them. So when we're talking intervention, who wants to do this intervention? Because even the family, for them to be publicly petitioning and doing this, it seems that there's probably nobody that they can just say, call Two-Face to come.
But do you know that we might be seeing signs of narcissistic behavior from who? One of them. I think it might be possible that both of them.
Yeah, and
because this is a domestic violence situation, and one of the things that happens if it is the way that it's typically patterned is you start with isolation. Yeah. You isolate them from family and friends, from the people who have been their typical support. Their typical support systems. Then you start pushing their boundaries in public. You want to see how far they will allow you to act negatively against them in public. Then there's the rinse and repeat of apology and all of that.
I'm sorry, before you go ahead, that particular apology, he said it's beginning to affect Natasha negatively. What about his own, and
I heard people zooming into that.
No, we talked about it yesterday.
Because I saw some girls who tried to zoom in and say, who was recording the video? Like,
Lolo,
say what I asked you to say.
Lolo, I was saying that, he was complaining that, it's affecting Natasha.
Which leads me to believe she might still be pregnant.
No, I'm even
this pregnancy is confusing. I don't lie. I'm so sorry.
I know there's a lot to say. But you know what I'm trying to say is, some artists have actually come out, like Odumodu Black came out to say that, he had like a session with Two-Face. The two of them, I don't remember the other one, but Natasha stopped it from happening. So what is happening to his own job?
His own career, the career that he built for years. So funny enough, I heard a story about that recently as well regarding a song he did for a movie, I think, or a soundtrack, and maybe some details will come out later. We have to go on a break. I had hoped maybe the weekend would be peaceful, or maybe the weekend will bring some clarity in this situation. But when we come back, there's a lot more. Imagine buying a SIM card, registering it, using it, and then the DSS shows up on your doorstep and carries you because you bought a SIM card. Then we'll also talk about the call-outs of content creators and vendors that seem to be resonating with Nigerians. I was in this situation last night at the event I went to, and I have some things to get off my chest. Okay. Details of these stories and more after the break. Stay with us.
Thank you for staying with us on Jasiri today. Of course, if you haven't joined us from the beginning, you have missed quite some. But because today we're spilling tea all over. The next story is one that may have gone under many people's radar. Well, it's a very important story for us to talk about. Diamond Okpo, an artist and undergraduate student at the University of Lagos, made a tearful appeal on Tuesday for the Department of State Services, DSS, to explain why her father was arrested over a SIM card he bought a few months earlier in Lagos. In the video posted across her social media pages, the student said the family had been in confusion for hours. Here's the video she posted on Tuesday.
Monday, I got a call that my dad has been arrested by DSS, and they came from Lagos to pick him in Ekiti, so they are in Ekiti presently. So the matter that they told me happened is SIM issue, and the SIM is what he bought in Lagos here when he came to see me. He bought the SIM in Lagos here when he had issue with his other line, and he left since then, not for them to go and carry me on Sunday. This SIM is a registered SIM. I heard that he even took the pack along. Me una do una investigation because I don't know waiting happen exactly now like this. Even people are not letting us communicate with him. Even people are not allowing anybody come see him. I don't understand. People that went there, they said that they are using guns to chase them away. That they even said initially that I was not there. Later now he's there. We are not allowing them see him.
Well, good news is on Wednesday morning, she announced that her father had been released on Tuesday night. In her update, she expressed gratitude and then directed her frustration towards telecom operators.
So this message now is for the network providers. Please, you all need to really do better. Like, you need to do better, because I see no reason why someone else will be using a particular SIM, a particular line for WhatsApp. Another person will be using line for call. Why will I buy a new SIM and still be receiving debit alert of the person that used the SIM previously? You guys need to really do better. I beg. You need to do better, because and I beg, if you buy SIM, I beg they keep the pack. It is very, very important. They keep the pack. And make sure you are not buying SIM from anyhow all this Atoman carry SIM. Please.
Well, Lopo's father's arrest and the confusion surrounding it, ties into the data harmonization and identity management lapses that have been flagged so many times.
Yeah.
The father's unfair detention also shows how these problems can routinely put innocent Nigerians at risk of unlawful surveillance by state and non-state actors and even arrests. Now, in some cases, technical issues at the National Identity Management Commission leave users unable to link their biometrics to their SIM cards with no clear recourse. There have been system downtimes that have prevented Nigerians from completing SIM registration and data update services.
Mm-hmm. All right, so telecommunication companies have also contributed to the problem by issuing or reassigning SIM cards without properly handling the biometric and financial information linked to the old SIMs. There was the case of Afiz Labode, a London-based businessman who had used his number for 22 years and kept it active with regular top-ups. When he returned to Nigeria in May, he discovered that his number had been reassigned to another user despite these subscriptions. This contradicts the Nigerian Communication Commission's 2024 Quality of Service Rule, which states that a number can only be deactivated after 6 months without any revenue-generating activities such as calls, SMS, data usage, or USSD transactions. Labode's periodic usage should have kept his line active, and to recover the number, the man who bought it initially demanded 100,000 naira from him, but then they eventually agreed on 50,000 naira. Then Lagos resident Ayotunde Ajijola says that his 22-year-old SIM was reassigned to another person a day after he was robbed. The thieves used his number for fraudulent transactions. Despite submitting a police report and affidavit, the telco claimed the line had been inactive for 365 days and recycled. Ajijola is now demanding a forensic audit and the return of his number. And it is the Foundation for Investigative Journalism that was providing that content. But there are so many issues here, and I think I want to start with the one issue that bothered me the most. Why would the DSS deny that this man was in their custody? There was no need for that. Let his family know he's in your custody. Let investigations go on if you're investigating, but let his family know where he is. Why are you chasing people who are coming to ask after him and
they do that all the time.
The fact that when I see, I understand the frustration of this situation. It was totally unnecessary, but it just shows that if our DSS, our security agencies want to work,
they can work.
They can work. How were they able to track him just, and yet we are still looking for children in a forest?
What they
we're looking for bandits who are on TikTok.
The DSS has not actually said why they were tracking him. Why?
So the story is that allegedly the SIM or the number of the SIM, whichever one you want to call it, had been used by kidnappers before it was reassigned and he bought it.
Yes, I'm just saying that they followed a trail. That means some of these things are doable. So that's why sometimes I'm questioning what is really going on. When that we will have bandits that are showing you videos, images that even children that are very tech savvy can actually pinpoint a location and
live
say
on TikTok, and they put their live
and
location
we cannot find them. And one innocent Nigeria, one Baba in Ekiti, he is being traced. Honestly, we need to do better. Absolutely. If you are going to be reassigning, when I sat there, the first thing that came to me was what our guest on Tuesday said. He said impunity.
Yes. at the heart of it all.
At the
is
heart of it
impunity,
all.
a lack of consequence.
You know, when people, there are no consequences for your actions, you can do a lot of wrongdoing and nobody is calling you to order. You know, it just gives you this impetus to continue to do things without caution, with nobody holding you accountable.
You know, Lala, when you said if they're able to track and all that, it means they, you know, it just makes me believe that they did know that Baba in Ekiti, he wasn't the actual owner of that SIM card, but they just wanted to prove a point, one way or the other.
What point?
Do you know the kind of trauma the man will be feeling? And then the part of it is that he's not even in good health, apparently.
Yeah.
So the daughter, because we couldn't take the whole thing, the daughter mentioned that the man is not even in good health as he was. What point are you proving? The only point I need DSS or any security to prove is to actually apprehend the people who do these things. What point are you proving to an innocent citizen?
To intimidate people, especially
intimidate the wrong people.
Exactly.
Intimidate the criminals.
And I love that the girl actually came out to, you know,
imagine if she had not come out and this story did not blow.
And there was something she said. She talked about, you know, if you're going to buy a SIM, please go to the, you know, designated outlet.
But you saw the stories I shared. Even the designated people are having problems.
I understand. There was a story that I actually saw, you know, a few months ago, and apparently some of these roadside whatever, what they do is they take your biometrics and your whatever
data.
Twice,
and
your data twice, and then they sell one to someone else and they give you one.
Yes.
So
yes. So you want the other one they sell to somebody else could be sold to a kidnapper. You should come and look one when they're doing TikTok live.
The fact that we have a lot of loopholes that people can just.
Did we not have Benga Shesong here? NIMC is still denying that there are loopholes, that Nigerian people, Nigerians' data is not available for sale online for as cheap as 200 naira.
200 naira. And do they know that this thing puts us even at a security risk all the time? Remember the young lady that saw her biodata from passport office? It's being used to sell akara. The person that bought the akara on Google also called her number to show her.
Can you imagine?
It's, I don't know.
But even if you're not going to use
let me tell you, there's one place that many of us don't realize that we freely give our data is when we go to all these places and they ask us to register and they ask us to sign in. I never give my full address, my right address, and unfortunately, I'm so sorry to who they call. I don't give my right phone number.
Yes, so my right phone number.
I don't give my right phone number because you don't know where those books are. The book fills up and they put it somewhere. Who is protecting that book? Somebody can come in and take it, and that's how you get access. Because some people ask for your email, they ask for your home location, they ask for your phone number. What is all that information for? At the end of the day, there was a time in July where NIMC servers were unavailable for 3 weeks. And Nigerians were parabolating up and down trying to get their SIM cards registered. And it's not just NIMC, because you also have to use it for your NIN, the BVN, all the passports are affected.
It was leaked as well. Data was leaked, and you know, a lot of people's contacts were
out in the open. But these things happen. That is why I say impunity. Nobody is holding anybody accountable for anything. So that means that some of these telecoms can be sued. But who is going to sue them for breach of trust,
data privacy breaches, and then you can link them to the fact that it is your fault that I was picked up by the DSS and traumatized.
If this man had means, he should be able to sue them.
With the judiciary we have, where we know that, you know, allegedly money changes hands, and you know it's there for the highest bidder.
We have to take a break
or not.
When we come back, the story that is impacting me personally from last night.
Yes,
content creators and vendors. I have one or two things to say to you. Stay with us.
Yes, the argument was still continuing even when we're off camera. There's so many things that we need to, you know, that is just not right in the country. But we have to move on to our next story. Now let's put our spotlight on event vendors and content creators. Filmmaker and producer Abimbola Craig of Skinny Girl in Transit fame has called out the rising trend of content creators and vendors turning events into content shoots. Content creators make the event their personal photo studio, while vendors are using attendees to shoot content for their businesses. According to some vendors pause their actual service work so they can shoot reels for their own pages, and sometimes even block guests and slow down event flow. Let's see what Bimbo said actually.
And another person holding camera, another person doing videography. It's just a lot. I think it's very excessive. I also think that when it comes to events and certain situations and occasions, I honestly think that some Nigerians don't understand proper etiquettes. I'll be very honest. If an invite says invite only, it means it's only you. The proper thing for you to do, I don't care, even if you are Bill Gates' son's best friend, is to come alone.
Well, her argument...
I was waiting for more.
Her argument, do your job first. She says that the client's experience comes before the vendor's content, and that not everyone wants to show up in a content creator's video. But creators are pushing back, and they say that content is their marketing, and they need it to show the quality of their work. And this has now turned into a big conversation online with clients, people, vendors, and creators sharing their experiences.
And of course, we have to see if we have some reactions to this in particular. If not, let's start. Okay. It's just really always so overwhelming. Someone's wedding and we can't even tell who the actual photographer is. I understand content is important for brands, etc. But even at public spaces, sometimes I can't eat in peace in restaurants because some babe carries full-length tripod, extra light to film TikTok challenge. Like, auntie, your camera is facing my side. Once the staff addresses it, they are quick to start another round of content or filming or going live to drag or cancel the restaurant. Shaking my head. It's what Nigerians like, unfortunately. I delivered a surprise package to someone a few years ago. I created content of the entire package before delivery. People were asking why I didn't show her while she received it. Like it wasn't enough that I posted a glowing review from her husband. I had to jam the camera in her face to prove that the recipient liked it. It's highly unprofessional for vendors to record guests eating the meals they provided, let alone circulate uncomfortable and unflattering moments online. This must be addressed. I'm halfway to eating amala.
Yes,
it's annoying. Can we also talk about the food and drinks vendors almost entering your face because you're eating their food or drinking their drink? I think a line needs to be drawn, I beg.
Yeah.
I just wish and hope we all go back to the simpler days where honoring people is the core of why you're attending an event and not the slay and content from it. I open my mouth to put puff, and next thing is light and camera in my face. I've made many of them delete the clips in my very before. So, I was at an event last night. Majority of us got there late. I think I was the third person to arrive. Traffic, guys, the December is already getting dirty, especially VI, Lekki side. The traffic you get there and there's nothing. It's just that there's a lot of people. So, got there, they have the official photographer and everything. You know, I'll show you the videos. I was looking, it was Pan-African royalty. That was the thing. But then you come an hour and a half late. You don't not only not come alone, you come with two people. One guy that's almost like a bodyguard and then your content creator. And then after you greet everybody while we're in the middle of discussions and speeches, you now go up to the side and spend 20 minutes taking picture and video. You're not contributing to the conversation you were brought for. You're not contributing to the networking you were brought for. Then after that, your content creator person now starts going around to people and says, hi, can you wait for the camera? If you see the eye, because I think there has to be a conversation. It just felt so, I think it was rude to the organizers of the event, and then it's rude to, if you want to focus on the person you brought, that's not fine. Why do I need to wait for your own content? And I think at this point in time, people have to draw the line. Then vendors, it happened to me recently, Musun's a friend's brother's wedding. I was in the middle of putting amala into my mouth. I just see the light. I just gave the girl, I was like, what are you doing? She says, oh no, I want to see. I said, no, you cannot take my picture. You cannot take my video. Go away. And then even she had gone away. She was still stylishly trying to do it from another angle. So they want you to do the small chops. They want you to do the grills. They want you to do the drinks. They want you to do the food. It's become way too much.
Everybody.
I don't think Dashin agrees. Because I can see the look on your face. For me, Dashin, behave yourself.
You know, it's just the fact that we don't understand decorum.
Yes.
There are so many nice ways to do something. When somebody is shooting a full-blown content beside you, I know one of my friends that is totally private. In fact, you will not even see her husband at an event. That's how they are. Imagine shoving a camera in somebody like that face, and her husband probably sees it and like, oh, so you are now parading yourself on social media. It's uncomfortable, especially for us celebs. Do you know how many times I've had to grit my teeth and just be like...
But isn't that
because whether you like it or not, it's better you're posing properly or they're going to take you
flattering
with your mouth agape, you know, in some flattering angle.
Well, Lola, you're saying that especially if you're celebs, aren't you used to having cameras, you know, on your face?
That is choice, and I think that's what people are missing in this conversation. So, and I think it's important we put it to the front. If I go to an event, I'm expecting that the event organizers will have their official camera people and videographer, and I'm pretty much okay with that. Agreeing to go to the event is putting myself there. But me going to an event does not allow the vendor to come and use my likeness to promote their business. So because you're doing it for celebrities, it is, to some people's mind, it is a celebrity endorsement of the product. You're telling me that if I agree to it, I'm endorsing the food. What if the food was crap? What if the food was crap?
Even sometimes as a celebrity, I would not even take pictures behind branded. Like maybe some FMCGs branding an event. If I go there, that means I'm subscribing. Whoever they paid has already earned, and I'm giving them my image for free to use.
Well, I'm here to tell you that sadly this is the new normal because everybody right now wants visibility, so you guys would have to get used to it. Or
I don't have to get used to it.
I don't have to.
I have every single right to ask any vendor or any content creator to delete my image or to ensure that they do not upload my image.
Know about it.
And the ones I find, I'll tell you to take down. And this is why I think I like either it was Denmark or Norway. They're allowing people to own their images and any likeness of their image because we take it for granted. When we do interviews, you need to get the approval of the person you're interviewing to even air the content. And you get it to make sure that you protect yourself from any possible litigation when they come back. You cannot assume because I entered an event that you as a vendor have a right to take my picture or my video.
But it just means that the organizers gave them access to do so.
So I think this is where it goes back. Organizers are going to need to now say, I paid you to come and provide a service. I did not pay you to come and do content creation.
Because they paid for the food anyway. If you want to, you can actually pay a model to sit by a table.
Tell them that because even for them, you know, they're pushing their brand.
But whether we like it or not, if we don't start to speak about it, it becomes normal. But if you say this is not normal for me, whether you like it or not, they can actually have someone they paid to sit at an event and, oh God, this Amala is the best, and they shoot it. But I've seen one content creator, you needed to see the terrible way they took all these women in their should be eating their food.
And they do that, and I think that people do that intentionally too.
Yes, it was more like making them a laughing stock.
Mocking them.
Imagine when they catch you eating amala, your mouth is agape and soup is drooping. No. You can actually, that's why sometimes I say, please, allow me. And I will try and pose properly so that I don't even look bad, because whether you like it or not, they're going to try to take your picture at any angle. It's just like when you politely say something, you go, please, can I take your picture? And I say, no, I'm very sorry. Do you know they take offense?
Yes, they do.
And you ask for permission.
And I have every right to say yes or no.
And they say yes
or no.
Or no. And when I say no, they get offended. But I asked. I said, but you asked. And I can say no.
I have a choice.
Or yes. So this thing that they do at have you seen even events? I've got to an event that we stayed outside for 30 minutes because the event decorator had not done video. They asked us to go out
after you had sat.
Yes. You don't understand.
Jasiri, you need to go to more events.
You need to, because so you will experience they asked everybody, sorry, please, we need to take a video and we don't want anybody here. We won't take the ambience. I said, but your event is supposed to start at 2. This is 2:30. That means it's
I will enter my car and leave from there. I don't like it.
It's gone past. What can we MCs do?
Oh, your MCs.
You understand? And it's gone past the time. You see dignitaries standing up to go outside. Everybody will now wait for them to do the video. They say, oh, thank you so much. You know, sometimes when people say thank you and apologize,
it's not. It doesn't make
it makes everything better.
No, it doesn't.
Imagine the uncomfortable shoes some of us wear to come to your event, hoping that once I get there, I can sit down. And now I have to stand in those heels for like 30 minutes because one vendor is.
I think there has to be a conversation about it. Too many Nigerian vendors and even and then we've spoken of vendors, content creators, as you say, you'll be in the background. I'm trying to hide.
No, I think restaurants. I think restaurants should not allow. Except the person probably pay. Yes, now I agree with them. Except maybe they have a space you can pay to do that.
They don't want to pay to do that. They want to buy a drink and do it.
No, I think it's wrong. A restaurant is a place where you want to read. I went out with my friends this week. We had dinner. It was so lovely. Imagine some of us have not seen each other for a little while. Imagine somebody sitting down there. There were a lot of expatriates there with ring light. And you know, some people just dress the way they like when it's dinner time.
Yeah.
And somebody will not put them in an uncomfortable
I remember
video.
that happened to me. So I went to a cafe to have coffee, and then, you know, I saw one lady with ring light. In fact, 2 of them, and I was like, you know, I had to turn my face
away from them.
Most of them do believe that the sky is big enough for everyone, and you know, it's them pushing their content. It's them trying to make money, and you know, the economy is hard.
Find a way to do it that doesn't involve me ending up being a Waka Pass actor.
What do you think in the Constitution? Do you know your freedom
ends where my
freedom that it does not that does not encroach on your neighbor? You can't tell me because you like Afrobeat, you are playing it at the highest volume. As long as it disturbs your neighbor, then your freedom is questionable at that time. So I have freedom to associate, I have freedom to move out, but of course I still have freedom to some private, to my privacy sometimes, especially in public places.
It's like we've had these experiences one too many times. All right, let's go to what is going to be our final conversation for today. And it focuses on something we've talked about several times on the table, and that's the impact of Japa on families. Now, I stumbled upon this post by Bolan Cole, who narrated how Japa to the UK has silently destroyed countless marriages and how these marriages would have been better off if they had stayed back home in Nigeria. He talked about how a pastor and his wife have gone their separate ways just 3 years after moving abroad, after spending a total of 11 years together with 3 children. Let's quickly take that tweet. The UK Japa wave has silently... I just said all of that. We read heartbreaking stories online and think they're exaggerated until it happens to someone close to us. Someone close. The call I just received now broke me. All right, let's move on. I think I've explained it. I wanted to link it with another post I saw this week from Chukwukere. Yes, Chukwukere, who talked about how our parents had it worse in marriage. Here's what he said. Okay, I'll just read it. We have the visuals. I fear that our parents may have had it the worst. I was talking to someone who ended a 4-year relationship. I asked if it was bad, and she said, no, it was great. We just fell out of love. And it made me think our parents couldn't do that. They didn't have the freedom to fall out of love and start again. Can we please move the prompter? Many were just stuck, and a lot of the dysfunction we grew up with came from people who stayed because they had no choice. Yes. So, you know, ladies, we've talked a lot about the Japa, and I was happy when I saw the comments on the Japa conversation that it wasn't Japa that destroyed the marriage, that it in most ways exposed the weaknesses. And when we talk about let them stay back home in Nigeria, it's because in Nigeria there are societal expectations of women. And it's because when you Japa most times, it opens up the I won't say the weaknesses, but maybe the faults in the marriage. And it demands more typically from your partner. And you know, in Nigeria, you have, not everybody, but you'll have some kind of help in the house, maybe a driver, a nanny, a cook. And when you travel, all of those things are gone. But still the belief of many, and I won't say men alone, but the belief of many when they travel is that the load, the mental load, and the way the family responsibilities were divided will remain the same. But when you are in these countries, it does not remain the same. And for many men, unfortunately, it is a man conversation at this point of what I want to say. They struggle because they need to do more. They have to contribute, not just financially, they need to do more physically, in the house, in the home, in the marriage. And that's where some of the issues come. And then it also opens the eyes of many women to what is possible. So many of them decide, this is not the best I can do. This is not bringing me peace. I'm somewhere where I can see other women have relationships where a man is contributing, he's a hands-on father, he's a good husband, why can't I have that? And then resentment builds, comparison builds, and many decide, you know what? I'm not doing it like this anymore.
Do you know that our parents, honestly, I know that many of us celebrate them 60 years of marriage.
Quantity over quality.
Just like Tolu would say, quantity over quality. But many of them didn't have great marriages. They just managed through their marriages. And I don't think that one is real success, because at the brunt of it, you will see that the women are the ones whose dreams were never fulfilled. I always use my mom as an example. Sometimes I'll ask her when she was alive, Mom, what would you rather, have done with your life? She said she would have loved to have an education. At least she would have loved to push her tailoring, to some level. And I know that she sacrificed a lot because of us, her children. But at the end of their lives, you will see the emptiness. Then their children become their cross. They become their love,
their be-all, their end-all, the only thing they have.
My mom will stick literally to my side. She will feed off my success. I'll come from work and she'll tell me, if she was still alive, I know she's like this to Jasiri. When she could say, Mommy, you look so fine. So what did you discuss? Show me the thing in the paper. They are living vicariously through us, the life that they should have lived. But you see, when you see people Japa, not only do the cultural shock again is there. The way the dynamics of different countries have different
especially
dynamics.
With gender roles.
From gender rolling, even to language barrier. There are so many things that can just alter their lives so dramatically.
Lola, what would you say, is responsible if the man, if after the Japa, the man does everything he was supposed to do, but the woman wasn't having it and wanted a divorce and goes ahead to accuse the man, of raping her, the fact that to the police
and there are a few stories like that.
But whether you like it or not, wrong is wrong. I cannot, if you're tired of your marriage, honestly, did somebody just say we fell out of love? I always tell people that, why don't you take the honorable option and opt out? So that both parties might still be able to live their life reasonably up to an extent. I remember when I was about to make a decision on whether I wanted to stay in my marriage. Do you know what people told me? They said, no, it's quiet, stay in the marriage, do what you like. He doesn't beat you, nothing happens. I said, no. Spiritually, that would be wrong. Because if you are in a marriage, for me as a Christian, there is a covenant that binds you. So I cannot be in a marriage, even if it's not working, and I'm still doing whatever you are doing on the side. It doesn't make sense.
But I don't agree when people say that, it's because they jackpot that their true, attitudes actually show. Because if you look at it, even our mothers back then, they had easy access to travel out. A lot of them did travel out, but they still kept their marriages. I think it's the fact that, yes, as you have said, our mothers were not happy in their marriages, and they taught us differently.
The expectation was
the expectation,
to stay
exactly. So the same thing that happens in Nigeria, where a lot of women do not take, ish from the men and they end up divorcing them, is what is happening abroad.
But let me tell you what it is.
Look like and it's made easier. And there's no family in your ear because family is back home in Nigeria.
Let me shock you with something. Do you know what mental captivity is? Let me give you an example. My mother. Do you know my mom came back from England because she said, empty.
I want to go and sit in my husband's house.
Late.
My husband's house should not be empty.
Oh. My dad died 1993, but she still felt a sense of tie to the thing. It's just like going to our hometown. She sees it like, even when she's sick, when she's not feeling well, she just feels like
it's a responsibility.
It's her responsibility
to take care of the
this
house.
thing that we're saying that freedom, the women of this age do not know this. In fact, they should go to their forefathers and their foremothers and put palm oil on their graves. Okay, because the freedom they are enjoying. Tolu is a different thing that they knew. These mothers, they never even knew what it meant.
So on the flip side of it, my mom knew what it meant. Me and my sister have these conversations. My mom gave up her dreams.
Yaya is a bit educated.
Yes, my mom gave, but I'll tell you, my mother gave up her dreams because that was what was expected of Nigerian women. And so she did. She gave up her dream. She supported my father while we were in the U.S. She supported everything. and we said we're coming home. She didn't fight it. We came home. She had dreams of things to do.
A lot of men expect it now.
My father would tell her, "No, I need to think about it."
Yeah.
He will think about it. He can be thinking about it for 5 years. And we would look at, and I think me and my older sister were a product of watching our parents. We're a product of the fact that we grew up more in the U.S. and then watching their marriage. And so there's certain things that
you do not
I
want to
never repeat. I can never repeat. I love my mother to death. I won't lie, and I understand her sacrifices. But you know, I tell Lolo, I tell Korede, my life is not tied and wrapped up to you and your father. You know, my husband. My life is tied to myself. So I want her to see me achieving and doing for myself outside of marriage.
I understand what Lolo said when she said, you know, her mom had to come back to stay in.
She didn't have to. She chose to.
She chose to. Okay, so my mom right now, if you tell her, oh, let's travel, she'll be like, no, she wants to stay at home.
Hey, because she has gotten so used to it now. She's so used to it now. To break it is
go to her
difficult.
sister's house to stay, you know, for a bit. You know, just go for her.
She's used to it.
No.
But wait, did she stay with your dad?
No, that is late.
So, but the flip side of that is also freedom. She's no longer having to take care of anybody.
She loves
so she's in her space now. Because going to your sister's house with me, she has to adjust a bit. So there are two sides to it. Some, they're used to not moving again. Second is they no longer have to take care of anybody. They can wake up and they're not worried about what. See, I'll tell you, my sister is putting my dad through the ringer now. All the things he wasn't doing independent of my mom, she's forcing him to do it independent of in the house right now where they
Let's hope it continues when he comes back.
And that's what we're telling my mother.
Already old.
That is the problem.
Already old.
That is the problem. Oh, and then let me also add another part. Let me tell you, our mothers were also enablers.
Yes.
Even though they realize sometimes they are also enablers of them.
That's what they were taught to do. That's what they were taught to do.
And we're teaching a different generation differently. That's why they're Japa and they're seeing things differently.
Women were enslaved to men. To the point that even the stories my mom would tell me, sometimes I'll put my hand on my leg and look at her. Are you kidding me?
Oh, we have so many stories.
I think we might need to tell those stories one day.
Honestly, so many.
Oh my goodness, we've had some fantastic conversation today, and we hope that we've also carried you along. We look forward to seeing you on our social media timelines. We are at News Central TV, and we'll see you on Monday. But for us here, it's bye for now. Mwah, 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 mwah. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope you don't get stuck in traffic. And 10 a.m. West African time, we're back for you guys on Monday. Do have a blessed one. Bye.